All right, chat. Let's take a look at this video. This is the season 10, like, kind of supplemental video, kind of explaining like some extra stuff that they're doing in season 10. We're gonna watch through it. I'm gonna pause it probably a little bit, talk about stuff, try to give you, the best of a genuine, like, first off reaction I can do. I have an idea of what this is already, and I've kind of looked at it, but we'll talk about it a little bit. I need a little refresher anyway, so.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Sea of Thieves news. We've got terrifying treats headed to the Pirate Emporium and an update from Drew Stevens on hit registration, sword combat and more. And it's extra special because we're on the cusp of a new season. That's right, Season 10 is nearly here!
It's a pretty sweet facility, actually. I think I've seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it in that capacity, though. It's pretty cool. Go eat some lunch on the deck. All right.
And is nearly here!
Yeah. Is this too loud, chat? You guys all right? It might be too loud for me.
Season 10 of Sea of Thieves starts next week on October 19th, and there's plenty to get stuck into. There's over 100 levels of new rewards to start unlocking through your seasonal progression, as well as the introduction of guilds. With guilds, you'll be able to play with others under a shared identity, creating meaningful social bonds, all while engaging in a new progression route that'll unlock some incredible new rewards. And then in November, we're releasing the Skull of...
So yeah, guilds, I still kind of don't really, I still don't really get guilds. I mean, I know what it is. I just don't know if it adds anything new, but we'll see. Like, I get that it's something you can do, like, hey, we'll go on this server and do Order Souls, or we'll go on this server and grind, I don't know, Fort of the Dams. Like, I don't know, like somehow it's gonna give you like a progression system, I think, that kind of lets you split up and do some stuff. So you just got to make sure everyone's pulling their weight, or if you don't care, just let them go about their business. Not particularly sure what that adds as far as like gameplay, but I guess the only thing that I think that it might actually help is if people are like doing some of the stuff in the game again under the guild banner, that at least gets people playing more. Like, it's going to get them to do forts, are going to get them to do Fort of the Dams, or get them to do the ghost fleets. So we might just see more people doing more regular activities again, instead of just like niche activities. I guess I never really thought about it that way. So, I mean, it might be good just for the health of the game, like people moving around doing stuff. We'll see. Maybe they can expand on it. Hopefully they do. Not 100% sure myself, like I said, exactly what is going to be in it, but that's kind of the vibe I get, so we'll see.
Siren Song, a new type of competitive voyage where you'll battle against other crews in an action-packed race to be the first to claim a powerful ancient artifact.
Okay, so for me, on a personal level, this is like the big one. Like, I think this is going to be really fun. And again, this goes back to my thoughts on Safe Seas. So how this works, from what I saw in their last video, is a quest will pop up. You get to choose to enter it or not, right? Like, it's just on your ship. And if you enter it, then it'll give you the locations of 2 items. I don't know if you actually have to enter the quest or not, or if it just exists. I'm actually not 100% sure. But basically, there's going to be 2 separate objectives. You have to get each of them that are on the map that are visible, and then you have to combine them. And then once you combine them, then you have to turn it into a random location. So it's going to be a pretty cool, like, quest on the server that's going to be dynamic and getting people to do different things, tucking, killing, defending. Like, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And this goes back into my thought process of, as I told you guys about the Safe Seas update, which I think they're going to talk about here again in a second. Hopefully Safe Seas will take out people from the pool of players that won't be doing this. So the idea is that hopefully all of the, like, the people that are kind of just trying to keep to themselves are doing that on Safe Seas. And then people that are playing on High Seas will see this quest every time and want to do it. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I don't know how the dynamic of that is going to break down on the server. Like I said, my thoughts on what might happen versus what, really would happen might be different. But I guess that's kind of what we're going to be seeing on that.
Fact. Then in December, we'll be adding Safer Seas, a new way to play Sea of Thieves either alone or with up to 3 of your friends, outside of the shared world. And when Season 10 launches on October 19th, we'll be adding new items to the Outpost stores. With the Gold Leaf ship set and weapons, you can show that your
Like
passion
Robin Hood?
for shiny things doesn't just end with buried treasure. And weapons.
Bow in the game?
You can show that your passion for shiny things doesn't just end with buried treasure.
Kidding.
It may cost a pretty penny, but then, style doesn't come cheap.
That is pretty cool.
And with the start of a new season, we've got an exciting selection of new items with the optional Season 10 Plunder Pass. With the Stormfish Chasers Collector's ship set, you'll have everything you need to battle the elements and navigate the roughest of seas.
That's
With
cool,
its
lightning.
striking details, other crews will know there's a storm brewing when they see this ship on the horizon. Now let's go over to Drew for new information about some exciting updates coming to the game.
Alright, let's see what Sonic Bob has to say.
Hey everyone. I wanted to give a bit of an update today across a range of hot topic issues that focus around the core game health of Sea of Thieves. We've got to start off, if we talk about hot topic issues, with our old favourite, hit registration. I'm not going to talk about how complicated hit registration is as a thing to go and fix. Instead, I'm going to focus on what we're doing and why you should be excited about it. So we've had a strike team invested in hit registration as a space for about 6 months. That team has been working on a range of small improvements that together we feel should make a meaningful improvement to the experience of hit registration out in retail. We've been gaining confidence slowly but surely using insiders as we've built that set of changes up. And actually, as part of our August and September's updates, we've released some of those improvements behind the scenes out into retail. The best wins that we've seen in this space are encounters between players that are at long range. So think players that are 20 plus meters apart. We are reaching a point more generally now where 9 out of 10 shots that you fire that hit on the client also now hit on the server. There's been some great work from the team so far, but we continue to invest in this space. Ultimately, we don't feel like we're done yet. If we consider that 1 in 10 shots that you fire still doesn't hit and land and give you that satisfaction, it's not good enough. So we're going to be continuing to invest in hit reg.
So I don't know if that, like they said, August and September feels like 9 out of 10. I personally have felt like it is not anywhere close to that, which is unfortunate. So I'm glad that they have a special dedicated team to doing that. I had a situation the other day. I actually think, and I don't know why this is, just from my experience, I feel like if it's been on insiders, I'm not sure. If it's on retail, it's definitely not 9 out of 10. I would say generously, it's probably 6 out of 10 right now for me. The place that I actually notice it the worst is on islands, which I think it should be less of a problem, but I actually think the islands are more of a problem. I'm being generous with the 60. I would say it's about 60 if I had to gauge it personally. So I'm hoping there's more to that when season 10 comes, because it's definitely not 90%. There's absolutely no way. I would say generously it's about 60. But yeah, we'll see going forward. I mean, I like that they have a strike team. They said, I picture.
FBI, open up!
People, roping in, breaking the glass ceiling at their office and jumping in and fixing HITREG when they say strike team. But hey, if they got people working on it and they're really trying to sort it out, that's a thumbs up for me. Like I said, it's kind of just been part of the game for a couple years. I like that they still haven't given up on it. I hope it gets better. I think they severely need to look at the island shooting, which I feel like island shooting should be better, but I feel like it's actually worse. So yeah, I don't know. I had an experience the other day where I hit It was between like maybe 2 or 3 pirates, but I hit 8 bullets in a row without people really healing, and I didn't kill a single person. So I was kind of like, okay. But yeah, we'll keep going. Let's keep going. Let's move forward. Let's see what else they have to say. HITREG is going to be a problem still. Hopefully they keep working on it. Hopefully they keep making improvements. I would love to see them tackle it finally, or at least get it to that 90%. If they can at least achieve that, that's a really good start and a really good improvement. But we'll see. We'll see what happens when 10 rolls around.
And assessing what we can go do to improve the experience further. So next up, let's talk about cheating. So there's 2 things that I want to update on here. The first one is that we're continuing to work reactively on issues and vulnerabilities that are surfaced. Most recently, there was a teleportation issue that was kind of heavily affecting Hourglass PvP that's been improved in a previous update. This set of changes, in addition to the teleportation fix, has reduced the reports of cheating that have reached our player support team by about 30%. So a significant reduction in cheating reports. But we know they're still there. We know that the cheating space is an arms race between us as developers and the cheat developers. So while we continue to work reactively in this space, we are also now investing in integrating an industry-leading anti-cheat solution into Sea of Thieves. We intend to cut cheating off at its roots. We're not in a place where we're going to share more of the details or the specifics or when this implementation is coming, because we don't want to show our hand to potentially nefarious groups that could use it to their advantage.
Very smart.
But we will share more on this when we're ready. We are committed to improving the experience for players in this space. So we've talked HITREG, we've talked cheating. Let's talk about player combat.
So yeah, anti-cheat is great. It's about time. If it even cuts it off some, I think that's going to be great. Yeah, I think it was always a shame that season 8, I think it was 8, was Hourglass, right? But yeah, I mean, Hourglass, like I said, I enjoyed a little bit of Hourglass. I didn't like spamming it, but without me even really getting into it, like even the games that I had played when it came out, like we spammed it a lot. Even early on, there was quite a bit of cheating. I think a lot of the things with this game right now, I know with the cheaters and trying to figure out what they can do to fight it, is I think there's a lot of like soft cheaters too. You know what I'm saying? Like people that only cheat when it counts. So hopefully that stuff gets rooted out. A lot of people are pretty smart about it. They don't necessarily, they're not like flying to you and dropping kegs, right? Like they're like actually just toggling aim hacks like 5% of the time or like 10% of the time, you know? So hopefully it does hit that stuff. I would love to see Hourglass be good. Like I would like to play it a little bit. I just really, honestly, personally, haven't really invested any time into it for that reason. So maybe I'll play a little more if it ends up being effective. I'd like to see it expanded upon. I mean, anti-cheat is going to be good. Any effort they make is going to be good. I'm happy they're doing it. I'm happy they talked about it, because there's nothing worse than going onto like a Sea of Thieves tweet, and this is just in any genre, of like, they'll be like, okay, here's something we're doing cool for the game. And then like the first 10 replies are like, anti-cheat when it's not like related to the topic. It's just hilarious to me that people do that. So hopefully this will at least curve it a little bit and actually have some proper discussion on posts. So yeah, good for them. I hope it works out. I hope they figure it out. It's going to be good for everybody. Obviously giving more people options to do Hourglass and do stuff like that, I think is going to be good for the game. So yeah, good for them. I'm glad they're addressing it. I'm glad they're talking about it. And, you know, I think it's smart to have not really said or done much until they were pretty confident in what they were doing. So let's hope for that, and we'll go forward.
Most notably, let's talk about swordplay. So Season 10 introduces a range of fixes and improvements to sword combat, with the goal of improving the smoothness and flow of sword combat, making sure that attacking and defending is a consistent experience for all. In Season 10, attackers that land the first hit in a sword combat encounter will now retain the combat advantage to be able to finish their combo. This is going to force defenders that take that first hit to begin to think about defending, about blocking, about moving to move out strikes. We feel confident that with this change, this should smooth out the experience of swordplay and make it much more clear who has the advantage in the encounter. So we've talked about attacking, let's talk about defending. As part of Season 10, the blocking experience in sword combat is now much more consistent and much more reliable. Defenders that are holding up a block should be able to feel confident that an attacker attacking from anywhere in front of them, or even right in front or even inside them, will be able to consistently defend from that attack. Across sword combat more generally, this update also improves the general consistency of feedback when hitting players with your sword at the maximum range of the sword. Previously, you might get feedback that indicated that you'd hit, whereas the player on their side were too far out of range and didn't receive the feedback. As part of this update, this should be much more consistent. If you see that player flinch, they will have taken damage. So from sword play...
Okay, let's talk about that really quick. That is not a buff to sword. That is what sword used to do. Just so you guys are clear. Sword used to be like that. And then somewhere a couple years ago, it broke. Like, it used to be fine. And it was exactly how they just described it. You would get the first hit. You could finish your combo. You could block. And then that was what it was. So basically, it's going back to what it was. Yeah, sword is returning to its original form, minus X canceling on sword. Which X canceling on sword was super fun, but obviously you would absolutely obliterate people with that. So, I mean, it was fun though. But yeah, I'm glad they took it out. I'm okay with it. So the idea here is that sword is returning to what it is. Personally, and it's probably too late to change it, I still think they need to go back to the penalty of if you don't hit with the sword, you need to be slowed. Obviously, that's going to be important in the next part of this video, but I still think you should be penalized for missing a sword swing. I don't think there's enough penalty there for that. I think it should try to at least broaden the skill gap a little bit with the sword there. But let's just, before I start throwing fixes at them, let's see how this works. Let's see how them getting it back to normal works, and then let's move forward with the next part of the video.
To gunplay. Now, this is a controversial one. Season 10 is going to remove the benefit that some players gained when equipping two ranged weapons, when they used a technique to switch between those weapons and fire two shots faster than intended. With the next update, players might find that they can still cancel that animation, but the important thing is that the time between firing those shots will be consistent with the regular shoot, switch, shoot approach. Players actually who try to quick switch in the old technique may actually find that it takes longer to get off that second shot. We appreciate that changing something that has become muscle memory for a lot of players is a challenge, but we feel confident that this levels the playing field for all players that are using two ranged weapons as a weapon loadout, not just those who have mastered the technique. We're steadfast in resolving this issue. So as part of this section, I've talked quite broadly across...
Hang on. All right, so double gun. Here's my hot take, chat. As somebody who, I've quick switched since the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? Since the game came out, I've sword lorded also. When the sword was a tech, I sword lorded. Here's the thing about quick swapping. And it's a tough pill for people to swallow. So I'll just say it. If you're good at the game, like if you're one of the better echelon of players, getting quick swap taken away from you, you're still winning. You're not going to lose to anyone for that reason. You will not lose a fight. You will not lose a fight to anybody because you can't quick swap. Like that is just the truth of it. You're going to win anyways, right? Like that's baseline. The thing where people are going to start to argue it, and it's going to be a small amount of people, which I get it from their perspective. Now they're saying that there's going to be a skill gap between the top level players, right? Where it's going to be like, if you can't quick swap as efficiently as I can, then I will beat you. So that's kind of where the argument's going to be there. My thing to that is going to be, you just need to get better at naval at that point. It's going to be a little bit more naval sided, right? Because getting onto a ship, especially in the sweatier fights, you're not going to be able to 1vx people so as easily. Like you're gonna get killed a little bit easier, like on offense like that. So it just turns into a little more of a naval sided game at that point. the better team is still going to win, right? So the thing that I get from a perspective of like a casual player or even above casual player, like somebody that plays decently but is not like a total sweat lord or like an upper echelon player, it feels bad when you die to something you don't understand. So like if I'm playing and I think, I'm pretty good at the game, I'm playing and I get blap blap, right? I'm like, okay, that was one, that was unfair. Two, maybe that guy was cheating. Not that he was. I'm just saying that's the perception that you get as a player. So like you don't want people to be turned off from the combat because they feel like they're unfairly losing. And those people, like I said before, you're beating them anyways. You're not going to lose to them, but it gives them the illusion that it was more fair. Does that make sense? It gives them the illusion that they have a chance or that they were playing and they were like, okay, I had good combat with this person. It's not blap, blap. This guy's a total sweat lord, alt F4. You see what I'm saying? So when you're looking at the health of a game, because, whether games ebb and flow, right? They go up, they go down. It's just how it is. If you want your game health to be good, which everyone that likes this game should want, you shouldn't be pushing for top end fringe things like that, right? It should be more about what is an enjoyable experience for everybody. And the better people are going to win anyways. Me being able to like quick swap my gun isn't going to make me lose, right? And even if I have to go back to sword, let's say that sword is meta again. For me personally, chat, like I said, after playing through all the metas of this game, sword has been fun for me in the past. And you can definitely outplay sword. It is 100% possible. People think that, it's M1 spam. I mean, occasionally it is. You can absolutely outplay people with sword. So it's like, will it add another maybe fun dynamic to the game? Yeah, maybe it will. Maybe it will. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But that's my first initial take. There's things that you don't know might happen in the future. It might hit. Maybe I won't like it. It might hit. Maybe I'll love it. Right? I don't know. I still think maybe, like I said, it's kind of one of the things. I do think if all these changes work out like they see, they should probably revisit sword missing being a penalty. Right? Like if you swing and miss your sword, you should be slow. Like that should just be how it should work if quick swap is gone. That's probably what should happen. I don't know because I haven't been in the thick of it yet, but that's kind of the impression that I'm getting. So I wouldn't say any doomsaying to the quick swap. You're still going to win. You're going to have to naval a little bit better. That's just how it is. And like I said, this game's gone through extensive amount of metas, and every time people have gotten through it and figured out what they're doing anyways. So the game's 5 years old. Let's mix it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily a good thing to have things the same for the entirety of a lifespan. Things need to change, right? Things need to be different. Things need to get mixed up a little bit. Things might be more fun. Maybe not. I don't know. But like sitting there and just wanting things to stay the same forever is probably not the best solution to that. So, but let's see what else I have to say about it.
A range of hot topic issues. At least some of these will have affected part of your experience playing Sea of Thieves. Most of this work has actually been achieved by a new team that we've brought on board. That team has a key focus on improving the health of the game experience. We feel much more confident as we look ahead to the future that we can do a much better job of staying on top of these hot topics and delivering more regular improvements alongside our seasons. Well, I think that's enough from me. If you have any questions, please don't contact me personally on social media. Take care and see you on the seas.
That's a hard truth. That is a hard truth. That's reminiscent of people DMing me all the time to try to get them unbanned, which happens all the time. And I'm like, bro, I don't know what you want me to do. It happens all the time. They're like, they try to, I'm like, brother, I don't work for Rare and I don't even have the power to do that. I don't know why you assume that I do. I do not.
As the days get shorter and we head into the season of spooks and spectres, we're bringing a selection of spine-tingling new items to the Pirate Emporium.
Banger music. SOT's music is always S tier, by the way. All of the time. Oh, that arm is cool. You have a metal arm? That's a sweet set. I like that. Yeah, that's sweet.
These devilish delights will be available in the Pirate Emporium when Season 10 launches on October 19th. And over on the Rare Store, we've got a spectacular selection of new merchandise to celebrate the annual Festival of Fear. We've had unconfirmed reports that some items may be cursed, but I'm sure it's fine. And on October 13th, fire up your favorite music streaming service and send a shiver down your spine with the latest addition to the Sea of Thieves soundtrack, Haunted Fortress. In addition to this bone-chilling bounty of newness, if you're looking for something more on the bright and happy side, but that can also stop a fearsome phantom in its tracks, you can grab the Paradise Garden Blunderbuss from the Pirate Emporium for free from October 19th.
Oh, free. You get a freebie, chat. Enjoy. Go get it.
And that's it for another episode. If you liked what you just saw and you want to stay up to date with everything Sea of Thieves, then remember to like, subscribe, and toll the bell for all those glorious notifications.
All right. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching the YouTube video today. On the way out, don't forget to follow the social media, my Twitter, my Instagram. If you've not already, please remember to hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Thank you all very much. See you on the next video.